Is private practice right for you? Today, we're going to go through an honest checklist of what you should be looking for in yourself if you are thinking about starting a private practice. This is a question that I get so much, and it is absolutely normal to question if you, quote, have what it takes. So let's talk about it. And if you haven't been following along yet, I want to welcome you. My name is Alysha. I'm a psychiatric nurse practitioner, and I teach other psych NPs how to find freedom and balance in their lives by starting their own private practices as well. In this video, I'm going to cover an honest checklist for psych NPs wanting to start private practices so that you can look within yourself and decide if this is a good path for you right now. So I'm going to go through 5 specific sections of your work life, and we're going to talk through if those areas are ready for you. Section 1 is clinical readiness. This doesn't mean that you have to have 10 years experience or always know the answer when you're seeing a patient. But what it does mean is that you feel fairly comfortable with common diagnoses, with decision making, and knowing when to seek consultation with another more experienced provider. We all have questions. We all need each other to make the best clinical decisions. I definitely phone a friend if there's a patient that I'm seeing and something comes up that I'm not as familiar with as my friend is. So again, this doesn't mean you have to know everything, but you do have to know how to use your resources, and you do have to be comfortable with basic psychiatric management of patients. And if you're not sure if you are there yet, it might be a really good time to seek a case consultation group. If you're in a restrictive state, make sure that you have a supervisor or collaborator that is available to answer your questions. And if you're looking for something like this, I highly recommend my good friend Kirby's program. She runs the Liftoff program, and you can find her on Instagram at your PMHNP mentor. And she is lovely and runs a clinical consultation group. So I do know some people that are starting private practices and want extra clinical support and someone to ask when they have questions. And so that would be the way that you would feel clinically ready. Not that you have to be 100% ready, but you at least feel like you can see patients and ask questions when something comes up that you're not super sure about. So it's good to know that container that you would use. Section 2, emotional readiness. This is a really hard one because it is so important in business to be comfortable with uncertainty, because opening a practice is not like having a job. You're not going to have a set schedule. You're not going to have a set income, but that's the beauty of it, is there is so much opportunity, but you do have to be comfortable with not knowing everything and feeling uncertain and figuring it out one step at a time, because you're building your business for yourself. And so you're going to have to learn yourself and see what you really like. And so I, as a mentor for psych NPs starting private practices, I'm able to give people step-by-step on how to start their private practices, but you have to test these things yourself as well to make sure that they're aligned with what you want. So there is always going to be a degree of uncertainty, but that's the beauty of it. You also have to be able to self-regulate under stress, because there's going to come times where you're going to feel really stressed out because you're putting your heart and soul into this business. And sometimes it's going to get hard. And so taking care of yourself emotionally is huge. And lastly, under emotional readiness, I encourage you to build your confidence and your trust within yourself, as opposed to having fear-based avoidance. I see fear-based avoidance when people run into roadblocks and then they say, I failed at private practice, I'm out. Or, that type of thing. I think it's really, really important to be mindful and notice that urge to avoid or notice that fear, and instead work on building self-trust. And I think it will really, really help you in your business. Number 3, lifestyle readiness. You need to have the time available to work on your private practice. It's really, really important that you have some time and space to dedicate to your private practice so that you don't lose steam or take too long to open. I usually recommend that people have 16 to 20 hours a week to dedicate to their private practice startup. And with that, you're going to need to measure how much energy you have, how much family obligations you have, and things that you have to do outside of work, because you're going to have to balance both probably a part-time or full-time job, starting a practice, and your home life. And so I recommend that you start to think about these things and start to make that space and dedicate those hours and that time to opening your private practice. Number 4, financial readiness. I do recommend that you have some type of safety net when you are starting your private practice, because you are going to need to invest some money into starting up your private practice. Obviously, that's unavoidable. You're going to have to pay for things like malpractice insurance, fax, EMR, etc., all of your basic startup costs. And so it's really important that you have some type of financial safety net, or that you have some money beyond your income that you could put towards your private practice each month. And yes, you can have a longer startup time if you're putting in money slower. Whereas if you have some savings and you're ready to rock and roll, you're able to get started up faster. Either way is perfectly valid. And number 5 is optional, but I do highly recommend it. I highly, highly, highly recommend having some type of support system when you are starting up your private practice, whether that is a friend, a accountability buddy, or a structured container like my mentorship program that's going to help you have people around you that are going to support you and encourage you to keep going with this private practice startup. If you haven't heard of my mentorship program, I do run a mentorship program of over 200 psych NPs starting up private practices. I have step-by-step videos on how to start a private practice, and we have a wonderful, beautiful community where you can ask any questions and get real feedback from other people that are doing it as well. We also have live calls where I answer questions that members have along the way. And I think that there is so much power in community and support when you're starting something up like a private practice, because it can be really, like I said, uncertain and scary. But I think that support can make so much difference. All right, my friends, thank you so much for watching this video. I hope that it was helpful for you to run through this 5-step checklist when you are starting your private practice or thinking about starting up a private practice. And I wish you the very best. If you would like to get in contact with me about the mentorship program, there are details in the description of this video on how to get started. And again, thank you for watching. I will see you guys in the next one. Bye.